Medicine and suspecting the body. Even the doctor, at least the doctor who is markedly influenced by modern natural scientific medicine, exercises an activity of a polemical type. What in positive terms is practiced as healing therapy appears from a pragmatic perspective as the fight against disease. Healing, making whole, and fighting are two aspects of the same thing. Whereas for the voyeur the naked body is the image sought, today's doctor proceeds from the naked body in order to uncover the sources of danger to its interior. The analogies between modern medical diagnostics and the machinations of the secret services, to the point of linguistic details, are glaringly obvious. The doctor undertakes, so to speak, somatic espionage. The body is the bearer of secrets and is to be shadowed until so much is known about its inner states that measures can be decided on. As in secret diplomacy and espionage, in medicine too, things are probed a lot, listened in on and observed. Medical apparatuses are infiltrated into bodies like agents: probes, cameras, connecting pieces, catheters, lamps and tubes. With auscultations, the medico eavesdrops on the body like a listener on the wall. Reflexes are noted, secretions, drawn off, tensions measured, organ data counted, quantitative statements, whether they be about production figures, troop strengths, urine data or diabetes points, are particularly appreciated because of their matter-of-factness. Here as there. For the doctor as well as the secret agent, there is often no other way than to rummage around in excrements and refuse, because the investigations, as a rule, must take place indirectly, without disturbing the normal running of the body, or the overhead corporate entity. Only artful and often disreputable methods lead to important information about the inaccessible secret area. To be sure, more recent methods of spying on the interior of the body shrink back less and less from direct and aggressive advances. In places, the distinction between diagnostics and intervention becomes blurred. Foreign substances are infiltrated into the body. For the reconnaissances and illuminations of the body, not only the natural inlets and outlets are used as canals. Often the body is even directly cut open, the safe broken into, and like spies the medicos put great efforts into encoding their information so that the object does not know what is known about it. Learned bluff and intentional concealment for therapeutic reasons separate the doctor's knowledge and the patient's consciousness. Coding and secrecy characterize the medical secret service style. Both exercise formally analogous intelligence practices. If, for diagnostic medicine, comparisons between medical and secret service optics suggest themselves, then with operative medicine still more clearly polemical analogies are in place. Surgery shares the concept of operation with the military. Conversely, concepts such as foreign body, plague boil, festering sore, poisoning and decay connect the ideas of medicine and those of the police. The fight against crime has long used medical jargon. Evil, against which medicine, the police and the army all fight, appears not only in various manifestations of sickness, criminality and opposition to war. These manifestations can also easily change from one form to the other. That also brings the theoretical polemical disciplines, military sciences, intelligence services, police, medicine, into a partly thematic proximity, but even more so into a methodological proximity. They all follow the logic of suspicion, which promotes the development of strategies for theoretical and practical knowledge of the enemy. Modern medicine, too, even more than all its predecessors, is black empiricism. It is based on the a priori principle that between the subject and its sickness, only enmity can exist. To help the subject means, accordingly, to help it to a victory over the aggressor sickness. From the optics of hostility, sickness necessarily appears as an invasion, and it is self-evident that the only way to deal with it is polemically, defensively, aggressively, not integratedly or comprehensively. The idea that sickness, like any hostility, could also be an original and, in a sense, true self-expression of the subject is already excluded by modern medicine's approach. In practice, the idea is ridiculed that sickness at a given time can be a necessary and authentic relation of an individual to itself and an expression of its existence. Sickness must be thought of as the other and the alien, and this polemically split-off element is treated by medicine in an isolating and objectifying way, no differently from the way the organs of internal security treat suspects, no differently from the way the moral prohibitive authority treats sex drives. The medicine of a latently paranoid society thinks of the body basically as a subversion risk. In it, the danger of sickness ticks like a time bomb. The body is suspected as the future murderer of the person living in it. My body is my assassin. If in the age of the first asepsis, bacteria and viruses were blown up into symbols for everything that stimulated evil, up to the point where politicians identified their opponents as bacteria, for which fascist rhetoric, no less than communist rhetoric, provides examples, swarms of Jewish, foreign, revisionist, anarchist, decomposing bacteria. Then today, in the age of the second asepsis, not only the foreign body, germ, but even the body itself is conceived of as a suspected enemy. Because it could become sick, it is the problem child of internal security. This suspicion creates the medicinal body, that is, the body as battlefield of preventive and operative medicine. According to some statistics, most surgical interventions consist in preventive and security measure operations, measures born of mistrust whose superfluity is veiled by the relief that the worst fears have not been confirmed. One can call this procedure methodical pessimism. The secret of its procedure lies in painting a bogeyman on the wall with one hand while operating with the other hand. As with all security systems, such preventative measures exist because of the growth of the readiness to be afraid. If it can be said that societies manifest their feelings towards life in their medicine, then our society reveals that life is too dangerous to live, but still too precious to throw away. Between preciousness and danger, one seeks the safe middle ground. The more life secures itself, the more it becomes virtualized, pushed away and abandoned. It becomes a mere potential that does not want to engage or realize itself, because engagement cannot happen without risk. Preventive, operative, prosthetic and sedative medicine hold up a mirror to our society. In it, in a modernized form, but archaically motivated, the existential fears of a civilization appear, in which, openly or secretly, everyone has to fear a violent death. With the fading of Christian European metaphysics, these fears have organized themselves anew. Existence becomes plastered with ideologies of security and sanitation. How police thinking and hygiene gracefully allied into one another is expressed by Dr. Herold, the chief of the Federal Criminal Bureau, in a disturbing way when he sees the police of the future confronted with social sanitary tasks. Now, the idea of sanitation means nothing other than prevention and prophylaxis. Behind the enlightened will to know, we thus still discover, to be sure and artfully unfettered forms, archaic fears of contact and wishes to eliminate. They give the polemical disciplines the energy, knowledge and practices to accumulate for the goal striven for. Scientific prognosis and polemical prevention are essentially related. Obstruction, avoidance, diffusing and suppression are the pragmatic a priori principles of the polemical preventative sciences. In them, enlightenment has organised itself completely as combative knowledge. To articulate this implies simultaneously the task of describing and integrating philosophy, namely to go behind the polemical approach of these disciplines and sciences, and to uncover the logic of hostility. In this return, the fears and efforts of the will which precede hostility and prevention emerge. They are the blind motives of self-preservation.